Hey, what's up guys? So, as you've noticed, this vlog is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to do it in English. I haven't talking to people in English, like really having a conversation ever since lockdown, and that has been like half a year now. And I'm getting really rusty, so I think it would be like a great opportunity to practice a little bit as well. So yeah. I've been wanting to do this video for a long time. I plan to do it before September so that people can get some advice from me, especially those who are coming to the UK. But I got interrupted by dissertation and flat hunting and everything in my life. So, but anyway, I'm here now. So yeah, this vlog is gonna be about some questions that I got asked very frequently, both on Weibo or on YouTube. So I'm gonna answer these questions once and for all. But if you got more questions, feel free to comment or DM me. I'll try my best to give you some advice. But today, this video is gonna be mainly about 4 things that I got asked most frequently. The first one is, how is it like to study in King's, and more specifically, how is it like to be in CCI or be in the Department of Cultural Media and Creative Industries. And the second one is, how is it like to live in Atlas. It's King's accommodation. It's specifically for King's students, and it was quite new, so there isn't that much reviews about it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to talk about that. And the third one is about internships, finding a job in the UK. I've done a former internship in an advertising company, and we're going to talk about that. And the final one, how to find a flat after the end of your contract. How would you find another one like me when the contract is ended, but you want to stay in the UK for a little bit longer? So I'm going to talk about that. Okay, I mean, well, it's a really long intro. Let's get started. So how is it like to study in King's? Well, I have to say that King's is really international, and let's be honest, Chinese students, we account for the highest percentage, I would say. In CCI, that's even more obvious. I have to say 2/3 of students in CCI are Chinese. I remember seeing this like a little joke on social media that when you're going to like study in the UK, you thought that you're gonna have classmates that are coming from different countries of the world, but the fact is that they come from different provinces in China. I mean, I can't say it's wrong because it's true. I mean, I don't know about other programs, but for CCI specifically, it's true. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, CCI is really a popular program among Chinese students, so that makes sense. A lot of Chinese students want to come. I'm just saying that if you're looking for international environment, or you want to like be among different people, different groups a bit more, then I'm just giving you this fact as a reference for you to consider. I mean, CCI is a very good program in a sense that they have really distinguished professors. They have a wide range of courses for you to choose from. So basically you've got, I think it's 3 等一下，我怎么一下子忘了必修课怎么说？别慌，我的词典呢？天哪，简直退化了！必修compulsory. Okay, so basically you have like 3 compulsory courses. Wait, no. It's actually 2. The major one, called Analyzing CCI, it's divided into 2 terms. So basically you have the first half in the first term, and you have the latter one in the second. And then in the second term you have, wait, I think it's research approach, yeah. So basically it teaches you what kind of research approach you can use for your dissertation, and that's in the second term. And in the first term you have 2 optional modules that you can choose, and in the second term you can choose 1. So basically you have 3 courses in each term. I've got some people asking me to recommend some optional modules. That's why I wanted to do this earlier, because I want to give the suggestions, but I think now you've already picked your optional modules, so I'm so sorry this didn't come earlier, but I'll still try to review it for you a little bit, because I think you can still change after the first week. So the first week is like a trial week. You can go to these courses and then decide whether you want to change. And for people who are coming next year or are still browsing or still in the process of application, I hope this can help you a little bit as well. So I chose visual culture and aesthetic economy in the first term, and I chose festivals and public spaces. Sorry, that's the title for the one course, and I'll just go short. I'll just call it festival. So in the first term, when I chose visual culture, I got some people telling me that it's gonna be a really hard course because the professor was really strict. I mean, honestly, in the first course, he literally just said that he failed half of the class last year. So basically he's telling us it's an interesting course, but that doesn't mean that it's an easy one. And that is true. I mean, it is very interesting. I've always had passion for visuals, and what our professor taught in the course is really interesting and really engaging. We talked about from traditional arts to film to TV to photography, anything that is visual and that is really informative and interesting for me. I mean, he is quite strict in the academic sense. Like, you won't just sail through this course, you have to really work for it. So yeah, after the first course, I know some of my classmates changed the course because they are kind of daunted by this idea that you're gonna fail. But I mean, I stayed, I insisted, because I really love what he taught and I really believe that I can do it. Just work hard for it and I can do it. So I told myself that and I stayed, and it turned out that I really worked it out. I mean, I even got distinction for that essay. I remember I was so scared when I was writing. I felt every sentence that I wrote is gonna be like a reason for my professor to criticize me. And it turned out that I worked it out. I mean, it really is about hard work and about writing about things that you really have a passion for, and of course stick to the academic standard. It's not like a mission impossible as long as you work for it. And then in stark contrast, the other course, aesthetic economy, that was the one that I really enjoyed as well, because it talked about fashion and I'm really passionate about fashion, and the professor was one of the most distinguished professor in fashion studies as well, and she seemed really nice. I mean, she is really nice, but that does not mean that she will go easy on your essay. Unfortunately, when I was working really hard for the other essay and I thought this one would be easier, I barely passed it. I literally just barely passed it. And I read the comments that my professor gave me, and it seems that she was right. Like, that was not a very good essay. I spent too much in describing and assuming without giving out real evidence. Now I thought about it, she was right, but it also taught me a lesson that don't overestimate or underestimate anything. Some things that you think you're not going to make it turned out to be a really good result. And the other things that you think is easy, sometimes you mess it up. Okay, and for the second term I chose festival, and I have to be honest that it was not as interesting as I expected. There is much more theoretical talking. We have like a roundtable workshop to talk about topics and cases, but it wasn't as engaging as I expected. Maybe I set the bar too high in my head. In the end, you wrote two things. You wrote a reflection essay, basically a standard academic essay, and then you wrote like a proposal to propose for grant. investment on an art festival that you want to hold. That was kind of interesting, but the funny thing is I got a much higher grade for my essay than for the proposal, because I actually wrote about a vintage festival, but the professor commented that it sounds more like a vintage fair, like a commercial thing, than an art festival. So I would suggest anyone who chose this course stick to the traditional art festival, because I love fashion, so I wrote about things that related to fashion, but to some extent that's kind of risky because sometimes it doesn't really fit into the traditional art festival definition. So if you want to go safe, then stick to like the music festival, like the theatre, or anything that is traditionally art. 一录了半个小时，我的妈呀，我怎么这么多话呀 ？Anyway，哎，喝口水，我的妈耶，真的是怎么这么能说 ？Okay, so I've talked a lot about the courses themselves, and then of course there's dissertation, the biggest challenge. So basically we started thinking about the topics in February or in March. Oh wait, even earlier than that. I think in February or March you need to submit like a questionnaire, but that wasn't really like a set in stone thing, because that's more like for the department to find you, to match you with the right tutor. So but still you have to have like a vague idea, like what kind of which field that you're going to focus on, so that the faculty can find you the suitable tutor. You don't have to really come up with like a real theme yet, but I mean, start to think about it as early as possible. The earlier the better. In April or in May, you need to submit your proposal. So before that, you need to talk to your tutor to find out what you're gonna write, how is it gonna go, and just get in touch with your supervisor and talk about it. And then you need to work out a 2,000 words proposal in April or in May, somewhere around that time period. Unfortunately, the supervision ends in the beginning of June, like the 9th of June or something, so very early, and you have about 3 months after that to write your dissertation, because the deadline for submission is in early September. The tricky thing is that those 3 months you're kind of all on your own. The supervision ended, you won't be able to get in touch with your supervisors, everything on your own. And I have to be honest, I didn't talk to my supervisor for a lot of times. I think I only talked with him for like 1 time on Skype and like 2 times on email, and that is all, because I was so preoccupied, because during May you're not going to submit only the proposal but also other essays. I had like 4 essays at that time period, and I had absolutely 0 time for writing my first draft. Oh wait, sorry, I think I made a mistake. The 9th of June is the deadline for your supervisor to read anything you write, and the end of June is the official deadline for supervision. So basically after the 9th of June you have, I don't know, 3 weeks that you can talk to your supervisor, but they won't be able to read the things that you write. So still you have to have like an outline, something for your supervisor to read before June. You have to get that ready, otherwise they won't be able to give you specific suggestions. So the faculty says that you, as a master student, should have the ability to do independent research. That's why the supervision ends so early. They kind of give you all the discretion about the writing. I mean, personally, I felt insecure because when you're doing the bachelor's degree, your supervisor kind of go through this whole process with you, and she would read like the first draft, the second draft, the final draft, and so you feel like you have someone at your back. And then for this one, you are all on your own. So in my case, I literally just talked with my supervisor about the general topic. But I mean, that makes sense. If I wanted more specific ideas, I probably need to like really write it out, really write like a draft, maybe just like 1 or 2 pages. But I was so preoccupied with my 4 essays, and I didn't get around to to write anything. But I would suggest you to do that because it really is a different thing for your supervisors to give you general ideas and specific ideas on your writing. So please try to write something, like really write it out before the end of supervision. I think that will help a lot because for me, I literally just did the dissertation all on my own. I wrote everything on my own with nobody to give me an advice whether I was doing it right or not. So I'm kind of really nervous about my final result. Okay, so what is it? Oh my god, I've talked so much. 哎，我真的是这么多话，40分钟了，第一个问题也没有说完，全都是废话。哎呀。Okay, so how is it like to study in King's? Well, I assume that things will be a bit different this year because of the COVID situation. I think a lot of activities will probably gonna go online, but last year it was quite a funny welcoming week. We had a lot of activities from department party to the society fair. I think, yeah, I went to Barbican for the society fair. So basically all student society came together. You can choose anything that you want to join and meet people that have the similar interests with you. And that was really interesting. King's has really small campuses. You don't need a lot of time to go from one side to the other, but the structure of the building is so complex, like it's literally just a maze. It takes a lot of time to get around and to familiarize yourself with the whole structure. I suggest you do that as soon as possible because you're gonna find yourself running from one place to the other between classes without any clue where you're going. So honestly, just try to get yourself familiarized with it. I know there are some cafes and student activity space on campus as well where you can relax and maybe just find a spot for coffee when you're waiting for the next course. I know King's is not like an old school campus like Cambridge or Oxford where you really feel like you're being like a traditional old school British campus, but King's has its own charms. People that are all very friendly. You have some really great opportunities to do some things that you really like and to meet people that really speak your language. So yeah, I really enjoyed my time at King's, even though it was literally just half a year because the second half there was this difficult situation and everybody was panicking, and I mean even it's not like 100% what I expected, still I'm very grateful for whatever experience I had during this time, good or bad, ups and downs. They're all part of your life and part of the experience. Nobody has the ability to predict the future or to change the past. All we can do is to do what we can to control what is controllable in the present. Just keep going. It's not like a Oh my god， 我觉得我真的说好多话，我怎么说这么多话？废话太多了吧 ？Anyway， 哎呦我的妈呀，我录了快1个小时了。第一个问题才录完，我在说些什么呀？老子都要哑了，怎么能说这么多呀？哎，我总是很害怕，我说话会被旁边听到，我发现这隔音不是很好。今天的咖啡还没有喝，怪不得觉得有点精神不振。哎，你以为纯说话就简单吗？纯说话也好累啊。我今天能把它剪出来吗？我觉得悬。哇，没电了！没电了！不是吧？这也是震惊到我了。行吧，那一会儿再录。